it's all good. I'm going to do this because it looks like it'll be a quick one. Can't access a website. We have an in-house website that can't open, but can be opened outside of the network. No firewall or anything. Well, I mean, there has to be a firewall. If you have an in-house website that can't open, and I'm assuming it can open, it can't open on your local network, but can be opened outside of the network, then it has to be a firewall issue. So that has to be that, really. It's kind of weird that, when you're on the local network. So what that means is that when you're in a, let me see what shows up in my network. See, here is my network, and if you are on a company's network, you open up network. See this tab down here? It says networks. I'm going to move it up here so you can see it. So this is just the Windows Explorer open, right? And you select network here. It's going to list all the computers that are connected on the network that you can access, that you have the ability to see. This is considered your local network. All three of these, right? All three of these are considered your local network. So anything outside of that, meaning in the internet, does not have access to these computers. They don't have access to these computers unless you install some specific software or open up the firewall so they can access it. You know how you connect to a new network and you get a pop-up. Let me see if I can recreate this. Let's do this here, Paint. So you connect to a network that you've never connected before. This only happens when you connect to a network that you've never connected to before. So let's draw this here, and we're going to call this HS, a hotspot, and it's going to be hotspot at a local cafe, right? At the cafe. Okay, at the cafe. Now you have your laptop here. Let me see if I can draw this in any way. Oh, that was weird. That line that just went down there, I did not do that. So let's say this is your laptop. And wow, that's a terrible looking laptop. I'm trying my best, guys. I'm trying my best. I don't know. I guess this is a keyboard, right? So let's say your Wi-Fi on your laptop connects to this hotspot. You get a pop-up. Once you connect to this hotspot, you get a pop-up that says here, if you say it's public, it's a public network. That's what it's asking. What kind of network is this? If you say it's public network, then these other computers will not have access to it. They will not have access to it. I hope I'm making sense. Sorry, I'm still a little bit exhausted from all the work that I had to do, but I'm trying my best to explain this so it's easy to understand. So public means your computer is safe, because it's asking you, is this a public network? Then you say yes, and it's going to keep your computer safe from these other computers that are connected to the same network, to the same hotspot here. If you say it's a private, then they will have access to it, because that means it's asking you, well, are you going to allow other computers to connect to it? So going back to the network thing, all of these computers that are joined here, all three of these, they are on a private network. They're on a private network. And people outside of that network, meaning the internet, cannot see it. Okay, in this case, we have an in-house website that can't open, but can be opened from outside. What does that mean? That means that for some reason it's set up that only outside of the network it works. So it's a firewall issue. It has to be a firewall issue. It has to be a firewall issue. Unless there is some kind of website setting that does rerouting in such a weird way that it detects if it's a private network or an outside network. So what happens is, once you get a new website that cannot be accessed, this is usually when it cannot be accessed. So now correct me if I'm wrong, Lantistos, please reply to me and say, well, you said it's an in-house website. See, it's usually the other way around, where a company is trying to access another website, which is a third-party website that's not in-house, and they can't access it. Then you have to give them an IP range, an IP address range that will allow those computers to access / use the website. So it's usually the other way around. Either way, firewall people will have to look at this. It has to be. It has to be a network issue. It has to be. It just, and again, unless it's set up to route to something else. Like for example, if you go to this website, let's say call it inhousewebsite.com, and it's set up so that it can tell which IP you're coming from, and if it's an internal IP address, meaning what you just said, in-house, your business network, if it's set up to detect this, and if there's a rule that's set up that says if you get this internal IP address trying to access this website, it might be set up to route to another page. And if that's the case, that usually happens whenever websites are trying to deny access, meaning trying to, set it up in such a way so that they can't get hacked. Sometimes these websites, even if it's another page, it might just route to page not found. Route to page not found. So it could be a website set up like that, but it could also be the firewall. So in this case, there's no way that it's not firewall or anything. It could be anything or firewall. I know, because there's nothing else really. Okay. And I'm going to reply and say, this issue is most likely related to the firewall or website routing. I would suggest asking the firewall team to take a look, and also web admin / developer to check routing. I'm going to leave it open. You can let me know if that helped.